10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Guerrero won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for those joining live and those that'll be joining us on archive. Started on the mute there. I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? But we are chilling. We're here. Calix, how's it going, brother? How's it going?
I am good. Tuesday, big fight week, Undisputed, some other good fights on the undercard. This is what we're talking about as boxing fans.
Yeah, absolutely. As a boxing fan, I couldn't be more excited. We are going to be talking about Vergil Ortiz coming back. Of course, it's like an undisputed weekend. Taylor, Cameron, undisputed versus undisputed. For Cameron's 140-pound junior welterweight titles on the line, and a homecoming for Katie over in Ireland and fighting a girl from England. Hey, that's a rival right there. I've never seen one. But also, Loma versus Haney. This has been a long-time rivalry. We're about to see it. I'm excited about it. And, of course, Vergil Ortiz coming back July 8th against a very game and very good Stanionis for the Reggie belt at the WBA. But, hey, I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. It's a great fight. July 8th, San Antonio. I'm looking to be there. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see Vergil back. Is third time a charm, Calix? Is it going to stick this time? It's the third time they scheduled this fight.
Let's hope so. They said they got him the right treatment, right medical information. They treated him properly. Hopefully this is it, because that is a big fight that we need. That's a fight fans fight right there. And by the way, get those lights up and get those gloves up in the chat.
Yeah, but go ahead and give those a nice sea of red of the gloves in the chat as well. Share this video on all your social media platform and all that good stuff, guys. Okay, we got a good show for you as always. HCP podcast. Who's down with HCP? Everybody. All right, and coming soon back on audio form. So stay alert on that. We'll give you guys more news as the weeks come on. And before I forget, I just want to plug it in right away. If you're listening now or later on the archive. Tomorrow on Wednesday, all right, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. in the West Coast Pacific. We're gonna have Roberto Diaz, former matchmaker of Golden Boy. A lot to talk about, right? And I can't wait to have him on. It's gonna be a great show, great discussion. So make sure you pin that one down, and we'll see you there as well. Okay, so let's get this started. I am very excited about this. Now Jolly High Roller, how's it going, brother? He says, "Salute style," and my fellow Louisianian Calix. All right, is that? I can't see it with the yellow. What emoji is that?
I can't see it either.
Is that bread? Like, what is that?
Oh, that's a thumbs up.
It's a thumbs up. Okay, there we go. All right. I have $20 on Loma by Stoppage. Junto MLN, Katie Taylor, and Cameron go the distance. Well, there we go. You guys heard it right there. Okay. High Roller is confident on a stoppage. We're going to talk about that fight. And a lot of the undercard fights and stuff will be covered it throughout the week, guys. Okay, so again, HCP content all week and all that good stuff. Calix, I love this Vergil Ortiz standing on this fight. I like the style. It's impossible for this fight to be boring, right? They're both going to put the mitts up. It's going to be like they're going to have the horns up, and it's going to be like bulls colliding in that fight. I see a lot of body shots, and I think the fighter with the better leverage on his shots is going to win this fight because there will be exchanges on the inside, right?
Mhm.
I just think Vergil is he's craftier on the inside. I think he has the better uppercuts on the inside. I think he's better with the body shots. I do think he hits harder, although there's no way to know that. But they're both durable. So this is a very, very interesting fight. A lot of it I'm guessing, of course, but I'm guessing that Vergil will not only win this fight, but win it in impressive fashion. I see him stopping Stanionis in the late rounds. I see him putting the stop. He's gonna stop, right? He's gonna put the stop sign right in front of him.
Have you seen Stanionis fight? Did you watch it?
Have you seen The Lion King? Have you seen it when Simba's running away from his past? Have you seen that? And then the monkey is like, stop! And he has to stop. That's what's going to happen.
Look, D-Style, that's disrespect of Stanionis right there, particularly when we talk about Vergil Ortiz and his inactivity as of recently, right? He's got a style where you need to keep him sharp, and he hasn't been able to stay sharp, right? Because fighting. So it's a big question mark coming into this fight.
It is.
Here, this is his first fight this year. They wanted to keep him busy this year, but obviously the Rhabdo got a hold of him again. How's he going to bounce back from that? What happens when he's in a tough fight after what he's been through? These are the questions. All things even, D-Style, Vergil Ortiz is a better fighter to me. But Stanionis is tough. That's not a guy you go out of your way and swerve into to fight after what you've been through and after inactivity. And that's why I give Vergil Ortiz props for taking this fight, because they're saying, look, we have some wasted time the past year or two. A lot of it is stuff that's out of our hands, and we want to make up for that time. This is the welterweight division, right? Everything is waiting and holding. The top two guys not fighting each other. Guys underneath them not fighting each other. Boots Ennis turning down fights. What we have here is fighters behaving like true fighters, and ourselves a true fight, a war. That's what this is going to be. And I slightly favor Vergil Ortiz, but I'm telling you, if you're not a game standing,
he's here. He sounds like the 50 Cent song right now. He favors him by just a little bit. He might win by just a little bit.
51, you know what I mean? 49, just a little bit. 51. That's a toss-up fight. D-Style. Stanionis ain't Emilio Estevez. Stanionis is not one to be played with, man. I'm telling you, that's not a guy you swerve into.
Just a little bit. Let me just give a shout out to round one in the chat. How's it going? Eric Gomez saying Bob Squad. He reps Wilder no matter what. Hey, you got to respect that. You know what I mean? Bruce Goss. Saludos, brother. Thank you for being a member. Much appreciated. Same with you, Sonteo Mita, hashtag HCP. And of course myself, I just had to, just shout out to D-Style, just why not? Hapo Tat, thank you for being a member, brother. Much appreciated. You guys can join and support the channel for only 99 cents a month. It's nuts. You know what I mean? And help support the content. Puerto Rican Rum, salud D-Style. How's it going, brother? Much appreciated. Jesus M always, is this prediction day? We're going to definitely give our prediction. We're giving one right now for a future fight, but nonetheless, Javier Avila, how's it going? All right, HLD with the peace. How's it going, brother? Good to see you. Once again, shout out to High Roller. I appreciate the support. The GOAT, Mario P. Haney by stoppage. Can't wait till we get to that fight in a little bit. But he says, nah, just kidding. Okay, well, there you go. Well, that didn't last. You know what I mean? Zone 60 Enforcer. He is back on these YouTube streets. Everybody just type that right there, Zone 60 Enforcer, and subscribe to his channel, support his content, all that good stuff. Chauncey Pearl, Virgil's going to get stopped. Well, there you go. Sonteo Media, I watched Jeremiah Nakathelia in his last fight to do a little film study as he fights Ray Marataya from SoCal, trained by Robert Garcia, promoted by Top Rank. Well, tell us what you think, Sonteo. What do you see? What should we bet? What's going on? He just left it was a cliffhanger. Like, oh, I watched. You know what I mean?
Tell us what you think.
Okay, I'm high on Stanionis. I think he beats Vergil. Chauncey Pearls is confident on that Vergil pick. Now, he don't think Timswell has a shot against Shermel, but he's convinced Stanley is going to beat Vergil. That's the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? That's the sport of boxing. Shout out to all you guys, man. Andre Rodriguez, Hotel Media, Haplotype, the GOAT, Bruce Goss, all you guys, man. I appreciate you guys being here. Check it out. Calix. I'm high on Stanley too. I think he's a good fighter, but I just think Vergil's at another level, and I think we're going to see it in this fight. It's going to be his coming out party right here. This is the moment we've been waiting for with Vergil, right? It's going to be a tough fight. Don't get me wrong. But I just think Vergil, he's very strong. Vergil, he's very game. Now, granted, we don't know. There's an X factor. How much did the sickness or whatever affect him? We don't know. So we got to keep that in mind. But those X factors, I can't. Since I don't know, I can't really base too much off of that, right? I could consider a little bit, but what I like about Vergil is the way he because one of the complaints people have about Vergil is, he gets hit a lot, right? But if you watch closely, if you watch his fights, he's really good at putting himself on the front foot, leveraging his shots on his opponent. And yes, his opponents are hitting him back, but they're usually either on the back foot or they're not in good position sitting on the punches, right? So the trade is not an even trade. It's like in chess, he's getting the rook and you're getting a pawn. It's not an even trade, right? And people got to consider those things. And I think Vergil Ortiz, he's almost a master at that. And I think he has a nice tight guard, almost unbreakable guard, up there with like Errol Spence, that I don't think Stanley is going to be able to break. He's not going to be able to break the guard. And Vergil's so good, man. Just a little slight movement, just like that. Boom. Blocks the body shots like nothing, right? Vergil is a master at blocking the shots that matter, right? Hitting with the shots with the most leverage. And I think Stanley is going to have a lot of problems with that, in my opinion, right? Stanley is used to being the guy railroading guys, and he's not going to be able to railroad this brick house. You know what Stanley is? He's like the wolf from the Three Little Pigs. You know what I mean? He's gone through every house, and Butayev had the wooden house. You know what I mean? There wasn't enough hay, but it was like he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down. But this guy's a red brick wall, Alex. I'm just saying.
Would you argue Stanionis has the better win at 147 out of the two? Butayev? You think he has the best win out of these two at 147?
Does he? I mean, Butayev is a good win. It's a good win. But
top 10 win.
Vergil destroyed a former world champion in Mo Hooker, annihilated him. I mean, that guy gave Ramirez a good fight. I keep hearing about Ramirez as such a great fighter, right? You know what I mean? So he beat him better than Ramirez did by far. He annihilated, Orozco, who was a really solid fighter. He made him take a knee twice, right? With body shots. And then, Mauricio, or what's his name again? Who's the guy that beat Danny Garcia? I said Mauricio, and I was starting thinking about the WBC dude.
Herrera.
It is Mauricio, right? That's his name?
Yeah.
And Mauricio Herrera, okay. I kept thinking about the WBC. I'm like, wait a minute.
No.
But Mauricio Herrera, I mean, like, destroyed him. I mean, I'm just saying.
No, you're right. And here's the argument for Vergil in this fight is he's the more ways the victory. You and I have talked about this in the past. Is he's not.
Hey, Calix, you're freezing there, brother. Calix is frozen. Calix didn't know what to. He's lost for words. Calix like, I don't know what to say right now. Yeah, Calix is frozen. Well, we wait for Calix to come back. He'll be back. I want to make sure people understand. Stanley is good. I just think Vergil is better, right? And I don't really see anything that Stanley has that stands out where he can make a difference to that degree, right? I kind of want to know what Chauncey Pearls thinks. What do you see, Chauncey, that convinces you, right? That he can. What is he going to do exactly? Like overwhelm Vergil? Like what is he gonna beat Vergil at his own game? I just don't see that. I think if there's anybody in the future that's gonna beat Vergil, it's gonna be someone who's gonna utilize movement in boxing, right? And try to outbox him in the course of 12 rounds. I don't really see anybody like taking it to him like that. And if it is somebody, it's gonna have to be somebody with some monstrous power. And while he has respectable power, he doesn't have monstrous power like that. Right? I think Vergil was solid. I think Vergil is really good. And I think Vergil's going to win this fight, quite frankly. I just got to put that out there. I think it's his coming out party. And after he wins that Reggie belt, he'll put himself in position to eventually campaign for the main belt in the WBA, which right now at the moment, Errol Spence holds. Okay. By the time this fight happens, and hopefully it happens, that's number one. By the time this fight happens, where will Spence be? Where will Crawford be? I don't know, right? But at one point, Vergil was number one in the WBC as well. So I don't know what the hell's going on, right? But I'm hoping that eventually Crawford and Spence fight, or both move up or something, and stop hogging the limelight, so we could eventually get some type of unification or world title fight between Vergil and Boots down the line within the next year or so. That could happen.
Wait.
But we're gonna have to wait a little bit.
And my apologies, by the way, if I fall off, because I'm in the process of moving offices, so some router issues. But just to go back to my point, Vergil Ortiz is the more layered fighter. We've talked about this in the past. He gets hit, but there's a reason he's trading, right? He's trading, right, and he's doing his damage in the process. And that's why I see this fight playing out is going to be carnage. It's going to be carnage. Whoever wins, the winner is the boxing fan. The winner of this fight is going to be the boxing fan, because we're going to get a beautiful fight, and we're going to get a meaningful fight at the same time. We're going to figure something out in this fight. That's what we want more of as boxing fans. We want meaningful fights. And when
what we want
entertainment on top of meaning, even better.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. Now, what I want from everybody right now, everybody knock on wood, and let's just hope the fight happens. You know what I mean? That's number one. If it doesn't happen, look, if something happens again, I don't even know what to say. What are the chances? But because, bro, people don't even realize, bro, like first it was Stanionis, right? He had an emergency surgery, right? And they're both like so understanding too. That's the funny part. Like usually when fighters like pull out, even if it's for like they start calling each other out, and you know what I mean? Vergil was like, "Oh shit, get better, champ. Hope everything's all right with the appendix." You know what I mean? It was crazy. And then Vergil got sick. They postponed it, and then it got canceled. You know, so here, this is the fourth time actually. Now that I think about it, so hopefully the fourth time is a charm. You know, so hopefully the fight just happens. I want to look. We're gonna have enough time to talk about the fight when it comes. Everybody, knock on wood, by the way, and let us know who you think's gonna win the fight. But and we'll see. But you know, I want to talk about a fight happening on the Zone. It's so shout out to the Zone. They're gonna have Katie Taylor versus Cameron, fighting for Cameron's junior welterweight, undisputed championship. So Katie's going for all the marbles at 140 pounds. Mm-hmm. She's kind of she's not in a lose. She's kind of in a win-win here. If she wins, she'll be double undisputed. If she doesn't win, she still has that Amanda Serrano fight at 135 that she could do. So she's going to be in a win-win regardless, right? Now, I want to make sure everybody understands this fight is happening because Katie Taylor, after Amanda Serrano pulled out due to injury, right? Katie Taylor went on social media and called out Cameron and said, "Hey, let's do it. Like, I want to move up and fight for your belts. So if you're down, I'm down." Right. And credit to Cameron. She's willing to put all her belts on the line and go to Katie Taylor's backyard, Calix. Mm-hmm. There's a homecoming. She's willing to do it.
And I think the boxing historian is wrong here. I think Katie Taylor, homecoming, now it may be more pressure, right?
Oh, yeah,
fighting in her hometown, but a lot on the line. Serrano rematch will all there. That will likely be next. And one thing that the women have taken advantage of the dropping the bag in a lot of instances. In a lot of ways, and obviously they don't have as many options, right? So it's naturally going to happen. But the men are dropping the bag, the women are not. The women are making the fights that the market is demanding, and they're winning for it. This is what we've talked about for years, right? If we're going to get interested in women's boxing, two things need to happen: is we need more entertainment, number one, and number two, we need rivalries. And this is another rivalry brewing. It's a meaningful fight. It's going to be an entertaining fight, and it's another rivalry. And it's Katie Taylor saying, I'm going to stay busy. I'm going to fight a meaningful fight, not a stay busy fight. And a lot of fighters out there would say, I'm going to take an easier fight and not drop the Serrano bag. Katie Taylor's behaving like a fighter here and saying, no, I'm going to give you a great fight. I'm going to give you a meaningful fight. And she's a 2-1 favorite. She's a 2-1 favorite, and I think rightfully so. I think she wins this fight.
Yeah, look, I mean, Katie's kind of used to, aside from the Serrano fight, aside from that, and maybe the Pursoon second fight, she is she's used to being like a big favorite. Like, you know what I mean? Like her fight in October, she was a huge favorite in that fight, even though that was like the mandatory. You know what I mean? That Argentine girl, she just like easily outboxed for 10 rounds. And so she kind of already had her, like, that was like her John Ryder kind of, you know what I mean? So she already kind of had that. And now she's jumping right for legacy here against Cameron in a higher weight class, one weight class north. Again, it's for all the marbles. Katie Taylor has done everything right, Alex, from the beginning, right? Yeah. She was a 2-time. Look at her and Clarissa Shields and look at the difference. One girl, both of them were 2-time gold medalists, dominant in the Olympics, okay? Both of them were just as dominant. It's hard to say who was like the best Olympian. It just is. But I think Taylor had the better competition, but if objectively speaking, but nonetheless, they come out. Katie Taylor signs with Matchroom. I don't know who Clarissa Shields signed with, but one girl wanted to be in the main event all the time. They put her on main events on Showtime. She wanted to be the main event, right? Fighting in front of 200 people, whatever, 300, 1,000 people, right? Eventually you have to take the MMA route to make more money or whatever. And then she went to England, and over there is where she had her biggest fight, right? Where people showed up and showed her love, quite frankly, more love than the American audience. You know what I mean? England showed Clarissa Shields more love than America. It's just the truth, all right? You don't like it? Well, go support her then if you don't like it. She's going to fight in Detroit. I better see a packed house. I better see the support, right? Yeah. But here's the thing. But here's the difference. Katie has not been in that many main events. She was in the undercard of warranted fights, undercard of Anthony Joshua fights at the Garden. That's where people saw her Pursoon fight, right? That's why people, Katie Taylor, she fought Pursoon at the Garden, right? So people in New York remembered her, right? So when she fought Serrano's from New York, they put two and two together. Look how the fight sold. You know what I mean? It did like almost a $2 million gate. So that's how you build an audience. She was willing to be on the undercard of fights, right? Even when she was a reigning undisputed champion, but it got her more exposure. And look at her now. Now she is headlining, but she got to this point.
And how did she do it? She followed the blueprint of a trailblazer who used to fight on Mike Tyson undercards, right?
It's true.
Who you have interviewed multiple times. That's how she did it. And biggest thing going in female boxing. You know, so good for her. And this is going to be another good night for female boxing, which continues to grow. I didn't think we'd be here 10 years ago, D-Style. We used to talk about this all the time. Nobody on the YTBC talked about female boxing. Nobody. And look where we are now. It's amazing.
That's true. Yeah, look, we're here. Katie Taylor's a big part of that, if we're honest, right? And so I'm happy for her. She's going to be fighting in front of Ireland, right? It's a big moment, a big homecoming. Shout out to Joe B. Ringside Port Life. Says, I'm putting the trust fund on Taylor, right?
Whoa.
I mean,
the trust fund? Whoa.
She's going to Cameron's neighborhood, figuratively speaking, right? She's coming to her weight class, right? there has to be a little bit of ego on camera. I'm like, well, I'm bigger. Shit, you're not gonna move up and beat me, right? Like I'm just. There has to be some ego there, I would think, but I can't count out Cameron. I just can't. I can't count her out. She boxed very well against McCaskill, right? The later rounds got murky. They were a little sloppy, if I'm honest, those last 3 rounds or so, but McCaskill can make stuff ugly, but she dealt with it very well. Like she controlled the action very well. She didn't panic under the awkwardness. She knew what to do, and she also proved she could take some big shots because she got cracked a couple of times late in that fight, but she showed she has a chin. And I know one thing for sure, Calix, there's not going to be a knockout in this fight. It's going to decision. Like I don't think Taylor has the power to knock out Cameron.
And who do you think is going to be favored in a decision fight in Ireland?
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially, and you know what? A lot of that. Look, do I think that they have some envelopes and they're giving it to the judges? No, like, you know what I mean. But when Katie Taylor throws flurries, what's the crowd going to do? They're going to go crazy, right? It's just the way it is. When Katie lands, you're going to hear a roar from the crowd. You know what I mean? It is what it is, right? So that has an influence on people. I don't care what people say. It influences you, right? Mm-hmm. And these judges, they just know. They know who the Golden Girl is. Like, they know. You know what I mean? Like, Eddie don't got to tell them nothing. Eddie just says hello that morning. They know. Hello, how you doing? Say no more, sir.
Good morning, mate.
But look, there's been a trend though, Cal. I've actually talked to Joe Beeb about this. I've noticed a trend lately, and maybe it's a social media effect that we're not taking into account, right? More than ever today, and I wonder what the chat thinks about this, because I think there's something to this. More so than ever, because of social media, maybe there's like a reverse psychology going on with the judges, bro, right? You don't think those judges for the Bivol Canelo fight heard everywhere all over social media, they're going to give it to Canelo no matter what. They're not going to give it to Bivol. Watch, Bivol could win 12 rounds or still give it to Canelo, right? I had a friend of the show, Sasha, famously say on the round table one time, Canelo, Triple G could knock out Canelo and they'll still give it to Canelo, right? So, like, but the point is, I don't know, man. I think these judges are seeing a lot of this stuff. So they're going to hear guys like us and the media. Oh, they're going to give it to Katie because she's the favorite. She's the hometown girl. The crowd's going to influence them. And they're going to go to the fight thinking about that. Like that is on their mind, bro.
Yeah,
that's how we've seen judges give fights lately that we're like, wow, they actually gave it to the right person.
You know what's a good example of that is Canelo Golovkin 3. We were all surprised sitting at the fight that they scored that many rounds for Golovkin. So they must have been hearing leading up to the fight, and they gave Golovkin more than enough credit for the little bit that he was doing against Canelo.
Yeah. I mean, look, there was a couple people that had it close, but aside from the judges, but I mean, it is what it is. But most people, right, had it wide, right? But I do believe that. I do think the judges, there was a reverse. Like if Golovkin legitimately won like 5 rounds in that fight, he would have won that fight. Mm-hmm. Like you know what I mean? Like if he legitimately won 4 or 5 and like there was 2 or 3 swing ones, at least 2 of those judges would have given it to him, bro. Because they were actually like thinking about that. I don't think people have taken into account how social media has changed everything. And here's another thing, Alex, more than ever. Now, this is figuratively speaking, okay? But there's a bounty on these judges now, bro. Like more than ever, like on social media, they'll put their fucking face, they'll plaster it everywhere, and they'll fucking like shred. They'll find them on Facebook. You think these judges want to be known as the person that screwed over Cameron if she legitimately won?
as my
It's
guy
a real
Nando
thing, bro.
always says, is Twitter really real life? Do they really pay attention to it and put stock into it?
They're human, bro. What do you think the judges
besides,
like, they don't live in a
like,
cave?
Besides, like a Leonard Ellerby, who is currently calling me a dummy on Twitter again. I don't know why that dude keeps responding to me.
Hey, it is what it is, bro.
I don't get that at all. Shout out Ringside Reporter. He just got a super chat. I talked to Judge Steve Weisfeld, who is the best in the game, and he said he can't be bought. It's like we talked about on the podcast yesterday. There's a difference between blatant corruption that we see on movies, right? Like they go in a back alley and they hand a brown paper bag, and quiet corruption. And that's more dangerous. It's the corruption we have because it's systemic, right?
Yeah, but listen to what he said, Calix.
I'm performing for the future. So if I'm a judge,
but Calix, even you admitted that the judges there was some influence there with that Canelo Golovkin fight.
True.
They went in there thinking, yeah, everybody always says that the judges always give it a Canelo. So guess how they were scoring?
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying.
Yeah, possibly. But we do
people
know
that were trying to give it to Golovkin found a draw. I'm just saying.
Judges and referees perform for the future, right? Future auditions. So if they score fights how the house promoter wants them to score fights, they will get more paydays in the future. The good thing about Haney Lomachenko is it looks like they have a capable, competent referee and judges for that fight. I think Harvey Dock got the call for the referee. He's a good, fair referee, so we should be in good hands there.
Well, no. I look, at the end of the day, all I'm saying is don't be shocked if the announcer says, and still, and the crowd's going to cheer because they're there to support Katie. They're going to think she's the champion. And they're going to go, camera, boo. Like, I'm just saying, don't be shocked. People don't know this, by the way. When this hit and the new at the De La Hoya Mayweather fight, they actually cheered at first because they thought De La Hoya was a challenger, right? But it's just a little fun fact. But nonetheless, Cameron could pull it off, bro. And I think there just might be a social media negative effect on this fight. Should put out. And don't be shocked if this is a difficult fight to score, by the way. Don't be shocked if this is like hard to score.
2-minute rounds. A lot of action.
2-minute rounds. And now Katie has the right style for those 2-minute rounds. She does. Like she just goes in there, like she's like a little like hummingbird. Like, you know what I mean? Because she's nice like a hummingbird. You know what I mean? She's so kind and nice. You know what I mean? But she just goes in there like, God damn.
A hummingbird, really?
That's right.
It's a horrible nickname.
No, that's not a nickname. I'm just saying she's like a hummingbird.
No, she's not like a hummingbird.
She's Beeb's hummingbird. You know what I mean? No, but let's proceed. But what's your official prediction, by the way? Judges aside, what's the Calix when the fight's over? Who in your mind like won that fight?
Katie Taylor decision.
Okay.
Katie Taylor decision. Clear decision. 7-3, something like that. Clear decision.
Man, I'm on the fence, bro. I'm on the fence about this fight.
You can't be on the fence.
I keep having visions that Cameron's going to pull it out.
We don't get on the fence on HCP.
I'm just having these visions, bro. And it's like, oh shit, Cameron won in Ireland. And she's from England. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be waving that English flag in the middle of the ring in Ireland, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But I'm still going to go with Katie, despite all that. I think they're both experienced, but Katie is so experienced at the highest level. And she's been in those, like, if this turns into a war, like Katie has experience in those moments. And I think Katie's going to bank a lot of rounds. It may get murky, though. It may get crazy, but I think the speed advantage. I've been wrong before assessing speed. Like Ryan and Tank was one of them. But I do believe Katie's a faster fighter of the two. Cameron's going to box Taylor's ears off, maybe. But can she? I don't know. It's hard to quote unquote box right? Like stay on the outside, jab, counter. It's hard to do all that when your opponent can exert so much energy and throw so many punches because it's only 2 minutes, 10 rounds. It's hard, right? Because if you notice, like, what would Mayweather do when a guy came at him very aggressive and threw a lot of punches early? He'd stay patient. He let him kind of punch themselves out. Then he just took over the fight. You know what I mean? You can't really do that in women's boxing, bro.
Mm-mm.
Like you can, but your window's going to be so small, bro. Like
you ain't got time to do that. You ain't got time to do that in women's boxing.
Could imagine she like knocks her out like Manny Pacquiao style, like against Marquez, like in front of everybody, bro. Like Katie Taylor's like knocked out in the middle of Ireland.
Won't happen.
Like I think a lot of people would cry, bro. Like I'm just saying.
No, I'll put the trust fund on that. That won't happen.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Okay. Everybody's like, yeah, one punch knockout of women's boxing. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, but like, you know, hey, Ann Wolf did it. Shit. Sanisa's done it. Against a very low level opponent, but she did it. You know what I mean? But
I'm betting Taylor UD. I'm with B.
I think the safe bet's Taylor UD.
Mm-hmm.
But
B,
I'm not gonna.
But B saying that referees go to seminars now.
Judges, right? I think he said judges, didn't he?
Oh yeah, judges going to seminars now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, they need a lot of seminars. I'm
Yeah,
saying.
they do.
I mean, now, Callie, before we move on, somebody brought up this point since we're kind of on that topic. See, now I'm thinking about picking Cameron just for Taylor could win. You know what I mean? I didn't interview any one of them. I didn't interview any one of them, so we're good. You know what I mean? In fact, Cameron retweeted one of my tweets one time, so she's screwed. You know what I mean? Taylor ignores the shit out of me. That's probably why she's like, I ain't gonna respond to that dude. You know, bad luck. But look, Senisa brought this up. You know what I love about Twitter, bro? And a lot of dudes say new to this shit. It's just funny. They bring up points that we've been bringing up for years, right? Mm-hmm. But Sinisa brought this up, and I remember we've talked about this in the past. And I wonder what the chat thinks. Should judges and refs be required to have post-fight interviews at the press conferences and answer questions as to why they scored a fight a certain way? Round 4. And ask them, online, only 2% of people giving that round. Nobody in the press gave the guy that round, but you did. Why did you give him that round? Play the round for him and have him explain. Mm-hmm. If judges know that shit's coming, they're less likely to be corrupt. We'll still have incompetent situations, but at least you weed out the corruption a little bit. What do you think of that? Do you think it should be interviewed?
Yes. If there's something controversial and it's requested by the network, because I don't like hearing what I heard by Showtime after the fight, and they're saying, you know, we requested an interview with Tony Weeks, we requested you, and at least somebody has to come out and give the interview. At least the athletic commission, who also declined. That's the problem right there. Is Tony Weeks is trying to get to high ground, but somebody from the athletic commission has to come out and give that interview, right, and back that up. Yeah. So that's what I want to see, at least. Somebody from the athletic commission say, you know what? They may have gotten that wrong. There will be repercussions for that. Because that at least gives us some closure.
Yeah, because we do it. Like, you know, like I'll talk to people on the phone. We'll do shows. We'll do roundtables. We'll do HCP shows, whatever. Racehour reporter, Eric and Beeb talk about it. Like Maestro over there, he talks about it with Ken. Like everybody talks about the scorecards, why they scored it a certain way. Oh, I give him this round because I feel he did this, he did that. Well, whatever that if we could explain it, why can't a fucking judge explain himself? They're the pros. They're the ones that's supposed to teach us.
Yeah. Explain
to me why that dude won that round. Like, you know what I mean? And guess what? Like, yes, it won't be perfect. And yes, I'm sure we'll run into more situations where it'll be like, you know what? Looking back, I don't think we should have done that. You know what I mean? By the way, would Jim Lamney cry if he was calling that Taylor fight?
Yeah. Is this true? Beeves,
nah.
He was in a crush. on camera room. So I don't know.
He's projecting on me. He's the one with the crush on Katie, bro. He's over here projecting. He's mad because I'm next to his girl right now. Like he's like, look at him. He's fuming right now. You know what I mean? But check it out. Nando Llamas. By the way, shout out to Nando Llamas. Look at that. I don't know. You ever notice that spray that he has the HCPX spray paint on the truck? You ever notice that?
I like
oh man, that's crazy. It used to have HCP, and then they spray painted the X lately. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of HCPX, just a reminder, guys, Roberto Diaz tomorrow on Calix's channel. So subscribe to this channel. Make sure you guys are there, okay? Look. Let's talk about it, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Undisputed. Haney versus Loma. All right?
Real.
And I want to want the chat to tell us who you guys got and how you got it, right? No fence riding, none of that. I gotta say, I do feel like this is going to be a more competitive fight than people think, because Haney fights have, at least this is just my opinion, and I feel like I've been in the minority in this, but Haney fights have always been closer than I thought they were going to be for the most part. You know what I mean? The exception is the Cambozes. I thought the Cambozes fight would be closer, but aside from that, right? Which you could argue he rose to the occasion, right? You could make that argument. But dude, I don't think Haney did anywhere near as good as people say he did against JoJo. He did good, but I do think JoJo gave him some problems, in my opinion.
I think you need to put up a poll too, because the polls I've been seeing have been favoring Lomachenko by a little bit. So,
well, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that in a little bit, but well, the chat can just tell. Just let us know. Put it in the chat, guys.
Put it in the chat. Who y'all got? Loma or Haney?
But here's the thing.
Loma
Haney. That's it. Loma Haney. That's all you guys got to put. Okay. Give me a boxing glove emoji if you have Devin Haney, right? And give me a thumbs up in the chat, right? Give me the thumbs up emoji if you have Loma. Boxing glove, Haney, thumbs up, Loma. All right. Look, the JoJo fight, the Linares fight, I thought he was going to annihilate Linares, and he was on his way there. Then we saw what happened. You know what I mean? That was not a really good look the last few rounds. It just wasn't, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was hanging on for dear life. Because Linares, he couldn't knock out, bro. Everyone that beats Linares knocks him out. Everybody. Mm-hmm. You either stop him late on cuts or some shit like that because he has very delicate skin, right? And it's happened several times, or you knock him out, right? Loma knocked him out with a body shot, I believe, if I remember correctly. But Haney asked him who it's harder, and he answered him without answering him. He said, well, he knocked me out, so that means Loma, right? It's going to be a tough fight for Haney. I don't think this is going to be the walk in the park. I could be wrong, but I don't think Haney is that second coming master boxer that's going to dominate for the next decade that people think he is. I'm not saying he's Corey Spinks. I'm not saying he's Mayweather, but he's somewhere in the middle, right? Where in the middle? I'm leaning towards the Corey Spinks side. Now, before people say, whoa, before people say, Corey Spinks beat Ricardo Mayorga. Corey Spinks was the welterweight champion of the world. Leno, I believe he was undisputed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So put respect on Corey Spinks' name. But when Corey Spinks ran to a guy who had the speed and more power than him, right? In Zab Judah, we saw what happened, right? The first fight, okay, but what happened in the rematch? He knocked him spark out. And what do we know about Corey? We saw he boxed a certain way. He boxed very, very safe. And people would say, oh, he boxed that way. He's a master boxer. Nah, that dude was boxing a little too delicate. Like, if you're boxing, like you have a chandelier right here, like if a shit was made of glass, how would you box? The way Devin Haney boxes. I mean, quite frankly, that's how you would box, right? You would box safe. You wouldn't engage. You would hug. You would hold. You would do everything possible. So that's why I don't blame Haney for how he boxes. I'm just saying, HLD, how's it going? Loma's 10 times a fighter as JoJo. Interesting stat. Haney went 10 of 211 jabs against Jojo Diaz. Good point. I was going to bring that up. I don't know the exact number, but I know it was a low jab count. Shout out to HLD. The only southpaw he fought at a high level. That's all I'm going to say. And here's the thing. You can't say, oh, but Jojo's bigger. No, Jojo's a little dude that came up from. Jojo's the same guy that got easily outboxed by Gary Russell. Okay. So we know, and I know triangle theories don't work in boxing, but I'm just look at the levels. You know what I mean? Gary Russell's the same dude Loma took to school, right? So now, and I know that was years ago, but I'm just saying he's going to have a hard time. There is a southpaw advantage, okay? There is, he's faster than Jojo, and bro, I don't think Jojo hits harder than Loma. I don't think Jojo could do to Nakatani what Loma did. I just don't. I don't think Jojo knocks out Comey. I think he beats him. I think he wins the decision. Maybe to knock him out. It don't happen, right? So I'm just saying, I'm telling you right now, Loma's gonna have some moments in this fight, and Loma may, if he hurts Haney, he ain't gonna let up. He ain't gonna let up. He's not. Okay, he just isn't gonna do it. So we'll wait and see. I think Haney wins a controversial decision in this fight, brother. I think that's what happens.
This is a decision fight. And it's a decision fight because Haney is not a puncher, about 15% KO percentage, and he racked up those early on. Both of these fighters are vets. Look, people act like Devin Haney still is young fighter. He's an 8-year pro, 24 years old, turned pro early, went on the Mexican circuit. He's a vet. He's been in there with guys. He's a vet. Lomachenko is an older vet, 32, 33. Turned pro after 397 amateur fights, something like that. So he's a vet as well. 20 fights, but he's a vet. Neither one of these guys have ever feared each other. And I would go as far as saying how they carry each other. They haven't feared anyone in their career. That's the good thing about them. I think they would go in there with anybody. There are these theories out there, these narratives that both sides are trying to push, that Lomachenko ducked Haney 3 years ago, that Haney, the Malignaggi theory that Haney was ducking. It's non-existent. Neither one of these guys have ever ducked each other. The fight is happening when it's supposed to happen, which is good for boxing. It's an undisputed fight for everything that matters at 135. This is great for boxing fans. Stylistically, it's a great fight because, it's really a tough read because Haney has the size advantage. He can hold. He can jab at the same time. Jermaine Ortiz has shown, and there's a reason they put Lomachenko in there with Jermaine Ortiz last fight. He's a bigger 135-pounder, keeps his left hand low, tries to work off the jab, keeps the right hand up here, and then doesn't throw too many combination punches. He tries to chop up, and he successfully did that against Lomachenko. So you start to ask yourself, is that due to ring rust from him being off a year? Is he starting to show his age a little bit? And this is a natural process in boxing.
He hits harder than Haney, though.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. But listen, this is a natural process in boxing. It's the younger lion trying to knock the older lion out of his domain and say, no, this is my division now. You had your time, you're gone. Lomachenko has had a great 8-fight run at lightweight. Only lost to Teofimo Lopez. Other than that, he's had a strong run at 135. But what he's missing at 135 is that big win. Bob Arum has wanted Lomachenko to be undisputed since Lomachenko entered 135. And he's even said, Lomachenko has said, this is my last shot. It's my last shot. He acknowledges this is my last shot, right? He has great wins. You got to remember, he's shown that he can bounce back after losses. Lose to Orlando Toledo. What does he do, D-Style? 3 months later, he outclasses Gary Russell Jr., who we can say what we want about Gary Russell Jr. That's one of the best pure boxers in the sport. 3 months after he loses to Toledo. Yeah. So a lot of
but these losses, like, look. I think everyone knows that if Toledo would have fought Loma by Loma's 4th, 5th fight, Toledo has no shot, right? Salido's only shot at beating Loma was Loma making the decision to fight him in a second pro fight for some reason, right? But I'm going to give you a staggering stat right now. I've never gotten a Lomachenko fight wrong, ever.
You're right.
Ever.
I know.
I thought Salido was too early. I said, wait, can you just wait 2-3 more fights? They don't want to do it. They wanted to break the record or whatever for world champion, whatever, right? But you know what stood out in that fight? It was only a second pro fight, only a second time going past 4 rounds in any type of boxing contest. And Salido, the veteran of multiple fights, was the one hanging on for dear life in that final round.
Yeah.
Right? That show, even in a loss, that showed me a lot for a boxing prospect, quite frankly. Okay. And I don't care what anybody said. Oh, but he had some pro fights and he had a couple of like 4-rounders, which was nothing. Right.
And he fought
with guys that only knew how to fight an amateur style.
And he fights the best guy in the division 3 months later.
Yeah, and not only that, the guy didn't want to do the rematch. Not only that, the guy didn't make the weight. Salido did not make weight for that fight. People forget about that, right?
Yeah.
So but it was a great learning experience for him. And then he comes back. What happens? He outboxes Gary Russell, who had far more experience in the pros than him, right? But Gary Russell didn't have an experience with a guy like Orlando Salido, right? Yeah. And I think that played dividends for Loma. And then Loma just had the style that was going to beat Gary Russell, right? But I thought he was going to beat Gary Russell. He went on a tear from there, and I picked Lomachenko to beat him. I'm sorry, Teofimo to beat him, right? I felt that style, but was going to beat Loma. But keep in mind, I was basing that off of not just the size, but the punching power, the explosiveness. Haney is not an explosive fighter, guys. He's not. Mm-hmm. He's not. He's not Mayweather incarnate like he says he is. He's not. Okay.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the point I wanted to make on Lomachenko is I understand why. The truth is somewhere in the middle for me for Lomachenko is created his own hype and doing the things I talked about, fighting Salido in the amateur back. 96-1, avenging the only loss he had in the amateurs, fighting Gary Russell Jr. 3 months later, wins against Nicholas Walters at 130, Rigo at 130, and just fantastic wins. And then he puts together a great resume in his third weight class. He legitimately is the fastest 3-division world champion in boxing. He's done all these things. He has accolades, but so great fight. Accomplishments, eye test, all of it. He found his way to the peak pound for pound. But here's the thing, and it's what Nando points out, I got to give him credit again, is there's an overhyping that happens, right? And ESPN has done that. They have jumped the shark multiple times when it comes to Lomachenko. They have guys like Joe Rogan calling this guy the greatest fighter of all time, just ridiculous things. And when I hear, and I'm texting you at the time, I remember, when I hear Joe Tessitore 6-7 rounds into the fight with Teofimo Lopez saying, oh, he's just downloading data. And no, Joe, he's losing every round is what he's doing. He's not downloading data. They say, oh, the Matrix is just downloading data here. He's not downloading data. He's losing the fight. So this is what they do. They act like Lomachenko, even when he's doing bad things, he's doing it for a reason, right? They go overboard with it. And that's what I say with packaging all the time. You got to be careful with how you package fighters because people will push back on it. And I think that's where some of the Lomachenko hatred comes from is the Joe Tessitore love, the Mark Kriegel love, like the over-adulation of these guys after they lose a fight. Oh, it was just because the shoulder injury. Look, the guy got in the ring with the shoulder injury. It's his fault. I'm sorry. So I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm somewhere in the middle with it.
There's consequences for your decisions in life.
As far as the fight, and stylistically, I'll get to that in a minute. But you can argue. Would you consider Kambosos a better win? Both of those wins better than Nakatani and Comey?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, bro, because to me, Kambosos is still that guy that I saw struggle with Lee Selby.
Mm-hmm.
That's Kambosos to me. Like, I just think I know it wasn't popular to say it after the fight, but I just don't think Tio was all there, bro.
Yeah.
Something wasn't right. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not going to take away his loss because it goes back to the, hey, you fought that way, you fought that way. Like, it is what it is. But this is a guy, man. He struggled with Lee Selby. Won a very, I thought that was a really close fight. He won, and then another fight that he struggled in was Mickey Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He struggled in that fight, right? Against an old Mickey Bay. So that's who Kambosos is. So all I'm going to say is I don't know if he's better than Nakatani.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say definitively. If they were to fight, I can't definitively say Kambosos would win. I think it's like a war, if we're honest. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, does Kambosos beat Comey? Does he?
Close. I would put Kambosos above Jermaine Ortiz victory and a Nakatani victory. Comey, it's close. Comey at 135. It's a little close. I don't know.
Yeah, but look at what Nakatani did with Verdejo, bro. Like how he came back. Verdejo is a much bigger puncher than. Yeah. Like what people forget. And here's another thing: like Kambosos is not a big puncher. Like, don't let that knockdown fool you early in the fight against Tio. He's not a puncher, right? I saw Nakatani get knocked down, hurt against Verdejo, and come back and stop him. Right? He couldn't do it against Loma. Loma it's just a different animal. Like, he's just different. It's like if you fall behind against Loma, it's hard to come back from that. Right? If Loma's knocking you down, he ain't gonna let you go. You know, he's gonna get that checkmate. Like he's just at another level, right? But all I'm saying is I think there could be a mirage. Don't be shocked if Lomachenko puts on a great performance and everybody's like, what the fuck just happened? Mm-hmm. Right? Don't be shocked that happens. And I'll say one thing, and you made this point before. Mm-hmm. If Loma wants to, look, right now, I would vote Loma in the Hall of Fame. Right now, he's there, without a doubt, right? Yeah. He's already, even Haney could go there and wipe him out 12-0. Loma's still a great fighter, okay? That's just a great win by Haney. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. If Loma wants to justify, maybe not his words, but the words of a lot of guys that like, and again, it's kind of unfair to Loma because he never said these things, but when Bob Arum is saying this guy is greater than Ali was, when Joe Rogan is saying this is the best boxer I've ever seen with my eyes, I never seen anybody better than this, right? Now, he may never be able to justify that, but having a great performance against Haney and beating Haney will go a long way.
It gets him in a different conversation.
It puts him in a different conversation, and great fighters, Alex, if you look back in the annals of time, great fighters got wins when everybody was saying they had no shot, right? For Loma, this is Loma's like I don't put numbers don't mean shit to me. Loma is an old fighter, right? Haney was calling him old 2 years ago. All of a sudden he's not old. But he is an old fighter, but he's an old crafty veteran. Loma right now, he's where Hopkins was when everybody was saying Trinidad was going to destroy him. Yeah. Right? He's just another opponent. Trinidad was a big favorite. That's where he is right now. And what made Hopkins great? He overcame those odds. What made Hopkins great? When he said he was going to get destroyed by Pavlik, he beat Pavlik. Oh, you're in your mid-40s. Are you crazy? You're going to fight Pascal? You crazy old man? The crazy old man does it, right? Now, I'm not saying Loma needs to do it till he's 40. What I'm saying is great fighters. Cassius Clay, later known as Muhammad Ali, right after the fight, was a 6-1 underdog against Sonny Liston. All right? Mm-hmm. He was an underdog against George Foreman. That his own corner didn't think he was going to win, right? He looked at his corner and was like, shame on you guys. Like, I'm the only one that believes in me, right? So all I'm saying is this is his I'm going to show you how great I am moment. This is it. This is where greats are made. You got to get a win like this, right? It's the way it is. Like, this is the win to get. This win justifies it all, right? And you'll get the accolades on top of that, in my opinion.
That guy next to me, he's got the pressure because this is a huge fight for him. Devin Haney's 34 years old. He's achieved undisputed. 24 years old. He's achieved undisputed. Lomachenko hasn't achieved undisputed. It's a big achievement that he wants. And on top of that, he has the pressure of knowing this is likely his last go round. He said it. He said, this is likely my last chance at Undisputed. And we can say everything we want. The resume is great. It is. The eye test, great. He's Hall of Fame, first ballot. It's all there. But when you bookend a career with Undisputed against a young champion in his prime, entering his prime, Devin Haney, you enter a new conversation. And he has that dark cloud looming above him, right? What happened with Teofimo Lopez?
Mm-hmm.
And people out there saying, we think you were overhyped throughout your career. We don't think you can beat a young American fighter in his prime. People are out there saying those things, whether those things are justified or not, whether they're true or not, those things are there. Lomachenko has this pressure, and it's real pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And a lot of times you don't want to face an old vet who can adapt in a spot like this. His back is against the wall, and Devin Haney has to face that. Devin Haney has to back up all the things out there that people are saying about Lomachenko. He's got to fight that. So I say good luck, especially when you're a 3-1 favorite against a guy who we've never seen anybody a 3-1 favorite. The last time somebody was favored over him, I think Salido and I think Gary Russell Jr. was a toss-up fight. So it's big, and I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder in this fight. And I think we're going to get a guy who I think we're going to get Lomachenko's A game on Saturday and Haney's. And it's going to be a beautiful thing. So I really don't know how to call it stylistically, but I'm definitely betting Lomachenko by decision, because Lomachenko by decision is sitting there at plus 340. Anytime I see Lomachenko at plus 340, I'm jumping on it.
If anybody wants to jump on real quick,
this is a decision fight because Lomachenko has 3 knockouts in 8 lightweight fights. Haney can't knock anybody out. It's a decision fight.
No, for sure. Yo, really quick, guys. If anybody wants to jump on really quick, we'll take quote unquote calls. If you guys want to come quickly, give your thoughts on the fight, etc. And or if you want to ask questions in the chat, go ahead and do so. Go ahead and ask some questions. We'll go and answer them about any of the topics or any boxing related topics you want to ask us about. Just 15 minutes or so, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay. If you guys don't have any questions, we'll enjoy the rest of our day. It's a nice sunny day outside. You know what I mean? But I believe we have our first guest. All right. Now I'm going to be doing something as a precaution because there's a lot of weirdos out here, but I'm just saying. All right. Shout out to the weirdos. You guys make the world go round, but we'll bring some people up here. Nando, if that's you, brother, your camera's not showing yet, or it's showing device is not connected. You know what I mean?
He's good now.
But hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Nando, what's up, brother?
You guys hear me?
Yes. What's
up?
up?
Dude, I'm on my cell phone. Passed by. Well, I'm sorry. Just had to call and say hi to you guys, man. I'm excited for this fight, dude. I think the whole card is pretty good, man. I'm just waiting to see if Haney makes weight, man. There's still there's still a chance he might not make weight, man. Kind of put a damp on everything.
What do you think of the weigh-in? I know there's some controversy that they're doing it like 1 or 2 hours earlier. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's better for Haney, right? So he has time to recover.
Yeah. I
think it's only fair, man. Like Haney's been boiling himself down for more than a year, down to 135. And that's by choice, right? So you can't really make an excuse out of it. It's by choice. But at the same time, I really don't want either guy to have an excuse or anything, man. It's gonna be a great fight. I'm excited for it. I think I have Haney by decision. But I wouldn't be surprised if Loma pulled out a knock. I think what Loma needs to do is start fast, man. Pile up the points. You can't waste time downloading. Whatever that means. And if he, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm downloading at work too, man. I don't know. What's up?
They had it connected on AOL, bro. Like it is what it is. It just took a while. It was like in the middle of round 7, like it was like you got mail. Oh shit, I can fight now. Fuck, Like, that's
I finally booted. You finally got in on there, man. But I think the one thing that Loma has holding him back And I know people don't want to hear this. Is his dad, dude? His dad hasn't really had great game plans, man. And in that fight against Teofimo, what was the game plan? I didn't hear him give him any good instructions to his son. I didn't tell his son, hear him telling his son that, hey, let's start getting a little more active. He kind of went along until Lomo was ready to start fighting. You know?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is that
too much juggling. It's too much juggling.
Yeah, you know what's crazy about that fight is round 2. I didn't give Loma round 2, like at all. I thought Teo clearly won round 2, but some people give him round 2 because he landed a one good punch towards the end of the round. But like Andre Ward gave it to him, right? I believe some of the judges gave it to him. If I'm not mistaken, at least one of them did. I could be wrong, but a lot of people give him round 1. A lot of people were giving like different rounds here, right? But here's the thing, like, if he would have just done that in a couple of more rounds, he might have gotten the decision, bro. If he just landed that one good shot, at least in 2-3 more rounds, we're probably not even talking about Teo being the undisputed champion.
I think, in my opinion, Teofimo won that fight before he even started. If you guys remember, man, he was talking a lot of trash months before the fight, the week of the fight. And I think Loma, when he finally saw him in the ring, was a little bit hesitant to get in there with him. You know, it finally took him like the 6th or 7th round to finally, you know, to start fighting with him, to get aggressive, and that's when he kind of turned the fight a little bit. I think it was like the 10th round where Loma was coming on, and Teofimo kind of stopped him in his tracks with the right punch. You know, like just like let him taste a little bit of that power, and that calmed Loma down. I think that was a difference in the fight. Yeah, Loma was coming on, made it a close fight at the end, but he really did give away those early rounds. And whatever rounds anybody gave him those early rounds were a little bit of narrative bias, you know, like, hey, they probably just didn't feel comfortable giving Teofimo all 6 rounds, you know. Even if you're listening to the broadcast, and they're still making excuses for him the whole time.
No, for sure. And Nando, any other words you want to give us, brother, and any other thoughts? You have thoughts on the Taylor Cameron?
No, but I'm gonna watch. I didn't even know what was going on this weekend, but I'll watch that fight too, man. It's gonna be a good weekend of boxing. I'll say one thing. I think Haney needs to copy that game plan a little bit and keep on talking trash to Lomachenko, man. For whatever reason, it throws off Loma that when somebody doesn't fear him. When somebody doesn't fear him, it kind of throws him off a little bit. Hey, thank you for taking my phone call. I appreciate it, man. You guys
for sure, brother.
Take care.
Have a good one, man. It's Nando Llamas, everybody. Well, I'll go over the questions in a little bit, guys. All right. So shout out to you guys. Let's bring HLD up in the building. How's it going, HLD?
What's going on, Manito? What's going on, Calix? Yo, man, welcome to the permanent HCP show with D-Style, man. You guys made this permanent? You guys with this?
Yeah, we've been going at it for like 4 months.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yo, man, great show. Just touch on everything you guys are talking about. The Ortiz thing, man. It's concerning that he's gonna go against this dude coming off of this rhabdo illness that he's been having now continuously. I think it's just no joke too. He's gonna go in, coming from this illness, and I hope they're not being stubborn, his family or his team, whoever Team Ortiz is making these decisions. I really think the weight cut is too much for the young man, and they really need to consider 154. I mean, he's just a big bone dude. He's, we got Xander Zayas at 19, and they said, you know what? Now 147 is just it's too much for you. Let's just put you at 154. So I mean, every time he's getting ready for the fight, it's not happening twice in a row. It's not like in the middle of nothing. No, it's during the training for a fight. He's overexerting. He's cutting weight, and the rhabdo kicks in. I mean, that's the way I see it. So I hope they're not making a mistake and being stubborn about it, because 147 is locked out for a long time, and maybe he could just do something better at 154. Katie Taylor, I think Cameron's gonna beat her ass. I'm just gonna say like that. She's gonna beat her ass.
In what way though? Is she gonna like outpoint her, a boxer?
She's gonna beat her down. She's gonna do. I think she's gonna do like a Shakur Stevenson on her. I think she's old, and you see the step. I mean, even with Amanda, you saw that it was just not. She slowed down.
So you think it'll look like Stevenson, like Valdez?
Stevenson, yeah, something like that. She's gonna outpower her. She's gonna outbox her, and Katie ain't gonna be able to hang with her. She's like 35 herself, I think.
At the risk of being called a misogynist, I mean, these women don't box at that level, though. Like, they ain't no woman boxing like Shakur.
No, but I mean, in women's, I mean, just obviously, I'm not saying exactly like Shakur, but I'm just saying in the women's.
You mean like that'll be like a similar game plan?
Yeah, and she's gonna outbox her and outpower her. I think, she's a much younger woman in her prime, and I think age is different for women than men. Call it misogynist or whatever you want to call it, but it is what it is. I think women age quicker than men do. But that's my prediction with that. The Devin Haney thing, I just really think that we're gonna see something unexpected, and a lot of the truth is gonna come out on Saturday.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be exposed. Whatever it is, from whichever fighter is gonna get either Devin Haney is that really that damn good, or he's not.
Well, that was going to be you kind of took my next question. I was going to ask you, like, are you gonna like, because people are going to be like, why didn't you tell him that? Like, so I'm going to ask you, right? So you already answered it, but so you're prepared to give Devin Haney all the credit in the world if he gets a clean win over Lomachenko on Saturday?
I always say the fight in itself gives you that credit. If it's a weak ass like Camboso's type of win that is just running around, no, man, go in there and beat that guy's ass. Beat his ass better than Tio had to do. Fight him better than Ortiz did. It just, and back up what you're saying. He needs this. I mean, this thing about just, win is win and win for you, but not for the fans. When Shakur was doing that weak fight with Nakatili, I love what the man said after the fight. I apologize. I promise I will do better. And I wasn't a fan of it. I'm like, hell no. What did that young man do? He made me a fan. He made me his fan, because you have to now respect the man. He comes out to fight. He comes out to and the sweet science thing is in the pocket and knowing how to dodge and weave and smack you around, and that's what the young man is doing. So I would hope that Devin Haney, would do so. I mean, I think it'd be for the betterment of the sport. He's the younger fighter, and it'll be better for the sport to have this young man continue progressing and be getting better and better. But if it's for the same thing we've been seeing, I just see Lomachenko beating him. I do. I see more tools in Lomachenko's pocket.
That's gonna be a very interesting fight. Thanks for calling in, brother.
Absolutely, guys. Peace out.
Let's go ahead and take some quick rapid questions here, Calix. I want to go through them. Some people were asking some questions here. First of all, shout out to Black and Brown. I saw him in the chat. Tony Boswell. We have Karate Body in the chat. Ringside Reporter, as always, Citrion. I appreciate you guys being here. Coco the Bulldog. Every single one of you guys, we definitely appreciate you without a shadow of a doubt. But let's go ahead and proceed here. Why didn't I know I saw a question right now, but so somebody was asking you how Loma going to be able to counter Haney.
I don't see the question in the chat.
I know. I swear to God, I saw it. No, I'm blind and shit. What the hell's going on over here? I don't even know. All right. Well, we'll just go ahead and move on.
But if that is the question, he needs to push. He needs to get off of Haney. And he did this successfully against Jermaine Ortiz as the fight went on. Disturbingly, once again, it took him a while to make that adjustment, but he made that adjustment. He was able to push Jermaine Ortiz off of him and get back to his mid-range game, get his hands free, and let his hands go. It goes back to what Nando says, is he needs to start. He has to start fast. He cannot download data. He can't do that in this fight. He can't. He's got to jump on Devin Haney early, get his rounds in, put rounds in the bank, and make sure that Devin Haney doesn't get in the groove to where he throws 1-2 punch hole, 1-2 punch hole, 1-2 punch hole. If you do breakdown of Devin Haney, he's a punch combination puncher at the most. But he's got a deadly up jab. That guy has a deadly up jab. Devin Haney, but people can say what they want about him. Been some criticisms of him throughout this podcast today, and some rightfully so, some not. And very subjective. But one thing that is not subjective, that is objective, is this guy has a jab in the sport. I mean, his jab, but once again, will he be able to do it against the South? He was not able to effectively do it against Jojo Diaz, and that's why that became a tougher fight. But to answer that question, Lomachenko has to get Devin Haney off of him. Get your hands free, but he's got to start quick. Use those angles, but start quick. And I want to go back real quick to something that Nando said is no excuses in this. None. It's, we throw these things like explanations, right? Is Lomachenko's older, right? Devin Haney is bigger. But Lomachenko's been in this division for 9 fights. So he can't say a lightweight, he's bigger than me. No. And Devin Haney, he's fighting at 135. He can't after this fight say, I was weight drained. Even if it's true, he can't use that as an excuse. He's using his size as an advantage. Lomachenko is using his size as an advantage to be the quicker guy in there. And age isn't an excuse either. You get in there, these things are factors, but they're not excuses.
Yeah, I want to proceed here, but yeah, look, no excuses. We'll see where it goes. I've been saying it for a while. Like, these guys are not like, there's no such thing as a group of humans that are born and they weigh exactly 135 pounds and they're lightweights. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, all these guys are cutting weight. Some have to cut more than others, right? And the weight classes are separated by some pounds. So, like, there's always going to be someone's going to be bigger than somebody. That's been the truth in every division. And you know what? Every fighter, like every great fighter, is in both predicaments. All right? Mm-hmm. Lomachenko was the big guy, quote unquote, at 126. All right? Right? Now he's the little guy, quote unquote. Right now, Haney's the big guy, quote unquote. If he ever moves up to 140, 147, at 147, he's not going to be the big dude, quote unquote. Right? Because those guys rehydrate too. They don't say at 147, they rehydrate to the 160s. You know what I mean? Close to that. So like, they're all going to go through it. Mayweather was the big dude at 130. When he was at 147, he was a little dude. Canelo was the big dude at 154, maybe even 160. But at 168, 175, he's not the big dude, right? That's just the way it is. Like, I don't know how to tell you guys. Great fighters, as they get older, move up in weight class because their body naturally gets bigger. Crawford is not the same human like he was a couple years ago when he fought at lightweight, right? Mm-hmm. He's a bona fide welterweight now, right? And if you want to say Spence would be bigger in a fight, okay, one of them has to be bigger. You know what I mean? They're not going to weigh exactly on the dot the same when they enter the ring. It's just not a thing. It's never been a thing. So it just is what it is. He's not a big lightweight, but he's a lightweight. Now I don't want to lose the questions here. So was that a question? Oh, I don't know what it was. Not.
No, it's just the last comment.
I got you. Give me a second, guys. But what do you have to say about that, Cal? So I look for the question here.
No, I mean, factors, explanations, but no excuses. And I think both extreme fan bases are trying to set up their excuses ahead of time. And they're trying to make sure that the other side doesn't have their excuses set up ahead of time. These fighters are fighting at the right time. They're fighting each other at the right time. This was when this fight was supposed to be made. One has an advantage as far as size. One has an advantage as far as experience. One has an advantage as far as age. One has an advantage as to they're not going to have to weight drain themselves to make the weight. So they both have advantages. They have disadvantages. We're going to get in there and see who the better fighter is. It's as simple as that. And the beautiful thing about this is undisputed. It's everything we say we want in boxing. It's everything we say we want in boxing. Two guys who are great fighters saying, we're gonna figure this out. Who's the best guy? And everything is on the line. That's what's beautiful about this.
Jesus M. asks, will Haney box like Ortiz on the outside movement, jabs, grab? Yes, Haney's going to try to grab him for sure. No doubt about that. If I'm Lomachenko, I'm watching film of how Canelo was fighting off the clinch, okay, against Plant. He used that against them. You can use it against your opponent, right? Especially when you're a smaller, stockier fighter. You're not as tall. You bend just a little bit you bend the knees a little bit. It's hard for him to grab you, right? I don't think Haney had as much success with Jojo in doing that, like he did against Linares or some other opponents, right? Linares had him hurt. He was easily able to grab him like a fucking octopus, right? So yeah, I agree with that. You agree with that, Alex?
But the other thing is, Haney is going to chop up this fight. He's going to chop up this fight. It's Lomachenko's job to make sure, like, great fighters adapt to that. A great fighter, even later on in his career, is going to lose to a guy who is very inferior to them, but just has a style that is good for them. Notice what Devin Haney's doing right here. It's I think Nando brought it up earlier. You want to get into Lomachenko's head, but he also wants to put it out there that Lomachenko is the dirty fighter. Haney has said this multiple times in the lead up to this fight. He keeps saying Lomachenko is the dirty fighter. Lomachenko is the dirty fighter. It's projection because Devin Haney is known to be the dirty fighter, right? The guy who's going to hold and hold and hold and clinch and hit on the clinch and do all those things and rabbit punch. But he's trying to project that Lomachenko is that guy. Why? Because so much of this fight is going to be in that clinch. He's trying to project to the referee, hey, this guy is the dirty fighter. This guy's a dirty fighter over there. That way he can try to get a pace of a fight, a style of a fight that is favorable to him. Because a lot of this is going to come down to referee and D-style will they be breaking the action earlier? Will Harvey Dock break the action and allow Lomachenko to get in there and do his work and get back free? Or will he allow Lomachenko to work on the inside at the same time on the clinch? What's going to happen here? Who's he going to be warning early on in the fight?
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of it goes down to that.
Karate Body's asking D-Style, what do you think of the Valdez rematch? Look, I'm not a fan of it. He's already beaten this opponent. He's a huge favorite. You know what I mean? But I guess I get it, I guess. I mean, I don't know how he was going to go from Navarrete to this, but I'll take it. Like for now, I guess, but stay busy, I guess.
It's the weak fight on this card.
Oh, yeah.
It's a name, but it's the weak fight. The other fights on this card are great, but it's the weak fight. But it's an okay stay busy fight.
Okay. Who signs Haney after top rank departure? Well, I don't know if he'll depart. I mean, Haney has some options. Look, it's not going to be that easy for Haney. Now, look, Haney could win, and then he can give PBC a call and be like, Raleigh has a belt. I mean, I think Haney easily beats Raleigh. Like, I don't think he has a problem with Raleigh at all, to be honest. But does Raleigh even lay a glove on Haney? I don't think he does. No. But that's an option. But is that the option you want to go? I mean, he could try to do a fight with Tank at 135. That is his biggest payday for sure. So maybe PBC's in a running, right? But he could stick around. But the top rank option is tough, bro. Like, stick around with us and fight Shakur. I mean, he's not going to get as much money against Shakur than Tank.
He has a good relationship with Trust Fund Eddie over at Matchroom. So there's rumblings he could go back, and deal with Trust Fund Eddie. There's just a lot of options for a 24-year-old undisputed champion if he comes out of that deal undisputed. I mean, if he takes a bet on himself like he did, and once again, it's a teachable moment for fighters out there. Don't sign long-term deals. A lot of these managers tell you to go for the big minimums and long-term deals, and you end up on the shelf. Is sign short-term deals, come back to the table. If this dude comes back to the table after the Lomachenko win, beating Kambosos twice in Australia, beating Lomachenko, and he's an undisputed champion at 24 years old, the world is his oyster.
Well said.
I'm telling you.
Very well said. Shout out to Tony Boswell. Thank you for being a member, brother. And also Major Key. Thanks for being a member as well. Major Key says, what up? I think it's a close fight, closer than it would have been during the inception of the franchise nonsense. I still have Loma by decision. This is the best time for Haney to fight Loma. He would not have been in Loma 3 years ago or 4 years ago. He wouldn't have.
No.
Not in my opinion. Not from what I saw in his other fights. But I think Haney's improved a lot since then. I think this and Loma's a little older, and I think this is the perfect time to do the fight. It's my opinion. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens with all that, guys. We went through all the questions, so appreciate you guys asking. Appreciate the guys that called in. Calix, any final words?
Great fight. Undisputed. We'll be talking more about this throughout the week, especially on my channel. And we got a big interview coming up tomorrow on the channel at noon. So make sure to tune in on Calix Boxing.
Yeah, make sure you guys tune in, man. Look, we're going to have Roberto Diaz on. A lot to talk. He's just a great guy to talk to anyway. But so I can't wait to talk to him.
He's a great boxing mind to talk about.
He's a great boxing mind. It's fun talking to him, period. You know what I mean? So I just want to make that clear. But he just recently left, departed ways anyway with Golden Boy. And I want to, you know, we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit, not too much, but we're going to talk about that a little bit. And also, I think there's a lot of things that we talk about, Calix, that we've been talking about for years that we can have a conversation with him about. Like, you know what I mean? Like fighters that get paid an outrageous amount of money and then they don't want to take any more risk because they're going to get paid the same to fight a riskier fight. Why will they do it? And how that kind of stalls the sport. And everyone just thinks about that fighter. They think they're pro fighter, but then they're literally leaving a bunch of dudes in the dust that are waiting for their shot. A healthy sport is a sport that benefits dozens and dozens and dozens of fighters, not just a couple, right? It's not if one guy is eating, but everyone else is broke, that's not good, right? I'd rather have a system that makes 10 millionaires, not one guy gets 10 million. You know what I mean? Like that's just me. But I can't wait to kind of talk to him about that and see from a matchmaker's perspective, right? If he's dealt with that, like you know what I mean? And we'll dive in, and there's more we want to ask him about. If you guys have anything you want to ask, make sure you're there. Okay, it's gonna be 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Roberto Diaz, make sure you're there. Roundtable, okay, this week on my channel, we're gonna have Joe Beeb, Ring IQ, Lady Chan, Low. If Calix is available, he'll be there as well. And of course, me. I mean, I'm going to be there. You know what I mean? So I just want to let you guys know that. All right. Well, that's it. This is D-Style Boxing. MAW. Shout out to you. The Boxing Science. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody. Ponche, punchy, all you guys. I am out of here. James Valdez. I'm out. Peace.
God bless.